Okay, and you are?
Tony Majares, Mike Anderson Chevrolet.
Okay, Tony, tell us a little about yourself. How long have you been in the car business for?
I've been working in the car business for about 6 years on and off.
Okay, on and off?
Yes,
All right. Now, we're here in downtown Chicago, correct?
yes.
Okay, can you just tell everybody how many cars did you deliver last month?
I did 27 cars.
27 cars. And how many weeks did you work?
I took the first week off for vacation and then I worked the last 3 weeks. So in reality, I worked 3 weeks.
So you sold 27 cars in 3 weeks. Well, the reason why I was so intrigued by your story is that I get emails that you read, you know what I mean, from salespeople all over the country that are saying they're struggling, they're selling 3 cars, 10 cars a month, full month, they're doing this and that. How is it possible that you could sell 27 cars in 3 weeks and people can't sell, 10 cars in 30 days? What is your opinion on that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that I can tell you about that, but I want to say the first one is not every single person that walks in knows what they really want. I don't exactly sell them what they initially think they want to buy. I kind of figure out what's convenient for them, and I kind of figure out what fits their budget and their necessities, and I just get on their side and I sell them whatever it's convenient for me and it's convenient for them. I can't do that, okay, if I don't know what the customer needs or wants. Not every single customer that walks in here is thinking about buying a car, and I want to say half the customers that walk in here think I'm not going to buy a car today. And it's my...
Speaking of which, well, let me jump in because that's a great one. Do you ever hear that, I'm just looking?
Of course, every single time. 90% of the customers that walk in, they're just looking.
Okay, so how do you respond to this? Let's say if you up me and I'm like, I'm just looking. How do you respond to that?
Okay, well, just so you know, my truck department is going to be on the left-hand side, okay? My cars is going to be on the right-hand side. I just have the Cruise that came out, and I have 2 of them inside the showroom. If you like, I can show you what those look like. They're very hot. But in case you guys need anything, my coffee machine's back here. I'll stick around. You guys have any questions, I'll come back and answer them whenever you guys are ready.
And how do they respond? They're really...
Okay, and then they walk in within 5 minutes. Most likely they will have a question, or they either walk to the lab where they're going, and then I just come meet them out there because I know they're actually interested in something.
Okay, now do you ever get mad or frustrated with these customers because they're just looking? You just expect it, right?
No, of course, it's normal.
Okay. Now, obviously, there's got to be some things that you do that make you successful. So let's say you had a relative, and maybe you wouldn't recommend, I don't know if I recommend to my relative to get into business because it's beautiful and it's great, but it's also very difficult and crazy sometimes. But let's say you did recommend this to somebody you cared about. What advice would you give that person, getting into the business? What do they need to do to be successful?
I would tell them you need to create the mentality of a car a day. If you walk into work, what time am I going to sell a car? When am I going to what time am I going to sell it? I got to make sure that I'm selling at least a car. If I walk into a dealership thinking, well, you know what, am I going to sell a car to this or no, that's not the attitude. Before I leave my house, I know I'm going to sell a car. I don't know which one to who. I just know I'm going to sell it and I sell it.
Okay, what other ways do you get traffic? I know that you just took on the position as the new internet sales consultant, aka internet sales manager, but before that, how did you get your ups? Was it just walk-in, or what ways did you generate business?
Well, I want to say 95% of the customers that I sold last month, they were all walk-ins. Okay.
Wow.
My shoes last me a month and a half because I'm walking the sidewalk all day, every day.
So you don't wait a minute. So you don't sit down and count sheep and wait for shit to happen?
No, I walk. I wait. I hunt people. I don't greet them. I don't jump onto them when they walk out of the car. But I'm walking the lot.
But you're scoping. You're constantly.
Of course.
Okay. Where do you scope? You said you're on the lot. Okay.
Yes.
You're obviously in the showroom. Now you mentioned service. I think that's a great place, but a lot of people don't think about that. Tell me about how do you work service?
Most of the people that walk into service is because they have an issue with their car, not so much maintenance. And when they have an issue with their car, they're fixing it because they obviously don't want to get a new one, but there's also there's already an opportunity for them because something bothers them with the vehicle or something's going to cost them money. If they had a new car or a used car and they didn't have to worry about that, they probably would jump in it. They just think that it's too much money, it's the wrong move. It's my job to somehow show them, you know what, maybe if I get something else, I don't have to be dealing with this, and I help them one way or the other. That's what the customers are looking for. They're looking for, help. They're looking for advice. They're looking for the better option. They just don't know, and they're afraid to talk to somebody. But if I take the first step, I usually end up closing with selling my car.
Okay. Now, what about? Do you generate your own referrals or do you prospect? What do you do on that end?
Well, I've been selling cars for 6 years, but I've only been at this store for about a year and 6 months. Yeah, of course, I do get a lot of referrals. I mean, you can't sell a car if you don't make the customer happy. You can't keep generating business if you don't get people to, say, you know what, I saw Tony, I talked to him, he took care of me. Most of my traffic is walk-ins. If I want to say by next year, most of the customers I'm going to be getting are going to be half referrals, half walk-ins. And that's what you want to do if you want to be a successful salesperson. You want to make sure that you get...
What's the most amount of units you sold?
I'm sorry?
What's the most amount of units you sold in a month?
I want to say it was last month. I did 27 units. I was in track for 35 cars. I sold 27 cars in 3 weeks.
That's unbelievable. And then that's predominantly, like you said, with just walk-ins. Once you start incorporating, full prospecting and referrals, etc., you're going to hit way over 30 cars a month.
Of course.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about the internet itself as a showroom, on the showroom side? Like, you've got people coming in that are constantly, bringing internet papers or saying they were on the internet. How do you feel about the internet? Does it bother you, or does it help you, or how do you feel about it?
Well, as you know, 80% of the people that walk into the door, they're coming looking at one particular car, okay? And most of the time, the reason why they pick that car is because of the price and the color, and that's it. Okay? But if you're able to show them that there's actually a way better opportunity out there on something else that might just catch your eye, if you show them there's more options and there's more benefits on something else out there, and you show them what's better for them, they're going to end up buying a different vehicle. Now I'm maximizing my profit opportunity, I'm maximizing my my referrals, everything else, because people don't really know what they want. They think they do, but it's my job, and like I said, I work for my pay plan to show them this is what's good for you. And I'm not that I'm showing something that really isn't. I'm just telling them here. You may not think so, but this is really what you should be getting.
Well, how do you feel about salespeople? And I don't want to call anybody out, but you've got to see salespeople that don't do anything. They just complain. They just sit around and wait for things to happen. They don't happen, and they work 8 or 12 hours in a day and do nothing. Mm-hmm. What do you think about people like that?
They come with the mentality: am I going to sell a car or not? If you come with that mentality and you wonder if there's going to be a buyer walking through the door and you're going to greet them and they're going to know exactly what car they want and you're going to give them the exact price, that's never going to work. You're never going to sell a car. You need to know you're going to sell a car. You need to work the customer and find out what they really want before you can even sell them something.
And that's really powerful. Is there anything you'd like to add to anybody else watching this video? They're new into the business or they've been doing this for a while, and
you have to be out there. You stay in your office, you don't touch enough people, you won't even have the opportunity. You have to be out there. You have to walk the lots, you have to be walking the sidewalk, you have to be, doesn't mean you have to jump on every single person. You need to be out there. You sit in your office, you sit inside the showroom, it's never going to happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much.